I am not indispensable, but it pays me to still do what I can do, because one major thing is that there would always be someone that you are sent to, and if you fail to attend to that person might miss it for life. So there's always something to do.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Lade Owolabi. Today is really special. You can tell, new hair, new sets. It's a really special episode. I'm excited to bring to you the first episode of the Best Version series. So earlier this year, I announced that throughout the year, for every last Sunday in the month, I will, have a special guest that would come on to the channel to inspire you. And so today I am very delighted to bring you the first episode. This person's story is extremely inspiring and I hope you watch till the end. So without any further ado, I'll let him introduce himself and we'll get right into it.
My name is Owolabi. I'm a legal practitioner, a father of 3 lovely girls, husband of 1 cute lady. I also am part of an organization called Jehovah Nissi Mission Help Initiative that runs a sexual abuse referral center in Ogun State known as the Spring Center.
As a lawyer, Barrister Lakpite has the liberty to specialize in any type of law he desires. It could be property law, criminal law, but he has told me that he does general law and that he puts all himself into whatever case he gets. But there's one particular side of law that interests him the most.
Yes, I could get involved in anyone, but I prefer family law. I prefer family law. I think that's my area. That's the area I enjoy most. Being involved in family law has shown me that quite a number of people assume a lot. There are lots of myths that shape people's perspectives and it makes them misbehave, so to say. And eventually when issues arise and you try to debunk some of the myths, they have problems with it. And some also run foul of the law because of the myths that they have. The key one that always reoccurs has to do with custody of children. Then the second myth I've noticed is that people assume that I'm married to someone and I want to divorce. I can just file just straightforward like that from the house to the court. No, quite a number of people do not realize that there are some steps that they have to take, processes to follow. The law says that if someone is having problems at home and they believe that the marriage has broken down irretrievably, the person should show the court that both of them have been apart. They've lived apart for a year preceding the time of bringing in the petition for dissolution of marriage. If you would come and show that you both have been living apart for upward of 2 years before bringing the petition, then and the other party would not be objecting to it, then okay, that's another yardstick. And another third yardstick, there are still others, but another third yardstick is that the parties must have lived apart for 3 years. Once they've lived apart for 3 years, it becomes almost automatic. The law just looks at it that, okay, this marriage has broken down irretrievably. So you see that there are quite a number of steps. So I've seen that people just wake up one morning coming from their homes and they go to a counsel, a lawyer, and they're like, okay, I want to divorce my husband. And you're like, okay, where are you coming from? Oh, I woke up, he slept on the same bed with me and I just got out and I'm fed up with the marriage and all that. No, it doesn't work like that.
As a lawyer, Barrister Lakpite is already busy with so many cases on his hands and just a lot of legal issues he needs to attend to. He's a husband and he's a dad of 3 beautiful girls. I got really curious to find out how he got into the NGO world in the first place, especially towards sexual abuse.
I started getting drawn to the NGO world when I was, I think I was in the university. Particularly, I started sometime in the year 2000 when I started with Jehovah Nissi Mission, just like that, Jehovah Nissi Mission then. And what we used to do in the school then was that we used to organize concerts, and the proceeds of the concerts, we used to give it to orphanages. We used to take the proceeds to orphanages for care of orphans. So from there, growing into it, I started noticing, as a lawyer, when I started taking up cases, I started noticing that of all crimes, the most rampant, but yet the most neglected, happens to be sexual crimes. And I noticed that more attention was always on the culprits than even the victims. I noticed that if a case is reported and you go to the police station or you go to the hospital to check on the victims, you discover that if assuming there are like 100 people there for that case, you will discover that maybe 95 are there on behalf of the culprit, and only probably 5 are there on behalf of the victim. And after the arrest of the victim and all the modeling of issues, nobody's bothered about the victim again. Everyone just walks away, and most times the culprits get to walk away too, because it seems as if the society backs culprits, kind of. But the victims just walk away, and it encourages the culture of silence. So that actually drew my attention towards the plight of victims of sexual abuse, and that's how we got into it fully.
Now we know that Barrister Lapite started the whole NGO thing even before he got married, and that's so beautiful to know. Who would have ever thought that he would have 3 beautiful girls and become a girl dad? I'm curious to find out how being a girl dad has affected his work with the NGO.
Of all the cases that we've seen, or that has been directed to us, if I would do a calculation, I would say maybe just 5% have been guys. 95% have been ladies. And ladies, if I would do a quick calculation, the greater percentage are between the ages 5 to 14. Being a father of 3 girls and being involved in that kind of work has opened my eyes some more, and also made me more cautious. One, it has helped me know how to go about training my children more, because information is key. I have learned how to train my children to avoid it. Because one thing is that the best thing to do is to avoid sexual violence, sexual abuse, as against trying to help those who have experienced it. It makes me very vigilant. I'm extremely vigilant now. I don't take things lightly. I don't take things for granted. I don't overlook things easily. You might say that I'm overprotective, but yes, I prefer to be overprotective over my children than to now have to care for them when something goes wrong. So
an abuse is generally defined as misuse of a thing, and it could be a person as well. Handling of a person, mishandling of a person. And I was just curious to find out from Barrister Lapite how they handle cases when they get a report of sexual abuse.
People abuse children not by defilement alone. Now, let me quickly differentiate defilement and rape. Now, rape is when a person has sexual intercourse with someone above 18 without their consent or where their consent has been gotten in a dubious manner or wrongly, then that's rape. But when it happens to a person, a child under 18, instead of saying the child was raped, you say the child was defiled. Part of the things we do that's related to prevention is that we go all around. We go to schools, we go to churches, mosques, we go to markets, places, to do awareness programs. Now, at the Spring Center, it's a sexual abuse referral center, and we're like the first responders when it comes to sexual abuse. So what we do is that once we get reports of an abuse, a sexually related abuse, actually, what we do is we step out. If we have to do a rescue for the victim, we go to wherever the victim is, pick the victim from the place where the abuse is happening, give medical attention to such a person, so we get to administer some necessary drugs, post-exposure prophylaxis to prevent HIV if within the window period where the person ought to use it, then post-pill to prevent pregnancy. Also, then head-to-toe examination is done so as to have medical report in case the police needs. For most times the police would need it, but at least as part of evidence, so as to preserve evidence, we do that. Then at that point in time, we cooperate with the police to get all the pieces of evidence required, and immediately after that, we take care of the psychosocial needs of the victim.
Wow, that sounds like a lot. More than just sounding like a lot, it is a lot that actually goes into the intervention when it comes to cases of sexual abuse. And I just had this impression, to be honest, when I first heard about Barrister Lakpite's story, I just had this impression that they were being funded by either the government, maybe they had grants, but I asked him, because see, impression is not as good as if you have the opportunity to ask. So I asked him how they get funded and how they can sponsor all of the work that they do.
When it comes to funding, it's really been a Herculean task to get funders. But, when you have your family supporting you, it makes life easier for you. As a lawyer, what I do is, from my own private practice, whatever income I make, we pour into it. That's what we divert into the projects that we run. And we have a few family members and friends, relatives who from time to time extend a hand of support and all that. And so with that, we've been running. But basically, we run smoothly because we have wonderful volunteers. We have wonderful volunteers who go all out without asking for a dime. My family understands what I do, so we flow together. We manage whatever we can do together.
Talk about inspiring. The thing about their work and the work that they do at the Spring Center is that it's from the heart. There's no spotlights. There's no promise of becoming a celebrity. There's no reward per se, except the one you get from God for helping humanity. But then he makes it sound so simple. One thing that touched me specifically was when he said that his family understands, and whatever is left, they work and manage whatever they have left. That just really inspired me. Although he made it sound so simple, I still wanted to dig in to find out what really would make the Spring Center operate better, or the NGO in general, Jehovah Nissi Mission Help Initiative. What would help them operate better? Let's hear what he had to say.
The level we'd want to get to, if you look at it, as part of the handling of sexual violence cases, you need to have DNA samples tested. You're supposed to also ensure that that forms part of the evidence that the police or the courts would make use of. But as long as there is no DNA test and all that, even if you find a semen or you find some hair or something, as long as there is no way to pin it on the culprit, the person can walk. Part of what I would want for JNC is to get to the stage that we help raise the bar and ensure as much as possible, if not 90% of convictions of culprits, at least something near it.
You see, this is one of the reasons why people don't even try to fight sexual abuse cases in the first place, because a DNA sample more often than not is required to convict somebody who is a perpetrator of this abuse. And so it would be really amazing if the Spring Center can get one to help the work that they do. A DNA machine costs anywhere from $10,000 to $120,000. If you know any way that the Spring Center can acquire this, maybe as a gift, maybe as a donation or something from another foundation, please, you can reach them with the information showing on the screen. You see, I'm so inspired by Barrister Lakwite's story. To conclude, I asked him what his philosophy of life is. And I also asked him how he thinks that other people can live to become the best version of themselves. Here's what he had to say.
I believe in doing what is right for the greater good. Because if you look at it, I am not indispensable. But it pays me to still do what I can do. Because one major thing is that there would always be someone that you are sent to. And if you fail to attend to that person might miss it for life. Everyone can't open NGO. Not everyone can survive in the NGO world because funding can kill you. That's the truth. But in a sane society, you can contribute your own speciality. One beautiful thing is, even if you think that your profession is not actually fitting into this kind of line, there's always one line for you to. You can talk. You can be part of teaching children or people on sexual abuse and all that. Have you noticed that your 1 year old, below 1 year old, sometimes get to sing songs that you probably don't know how they got to know the songs. They even know the dance steps at less than 1 or even 1. It means that your children have something written in their minds already. So once your children can start singing or start talking, you should begin to teach them. For every age, we have age-appropriate sexuality education materials. For children below 1 and above like that, we have songs that you use to teach them so that it registers in their head. Sometimes you give somebody 500 naira and maybe that's what the person needs to feed that day. Or maybe they need to put on the generator in their office and that 500 naira would do something at that point in time.
Wow. There would always be someone that you're sent to. And if you fail to attend to that person, they might just miss it for life. How profound. And he also said that there is always something you can do. That is super duper inspiring. And this is the vision of the Best Version series, to show you the lives of seemingly ordinary people doing seemingly ordinary things in an extraordinary way that impacts the lives of other people and the community at large. What are you doing today to live your best life? What are you doing today to be the best version of you? I hope you've been inspired by this episode, and please spread the word, because in March we're going to be bringing you another beautiful fresh episode of the Best Version series at the end of the month. That's the last Sunday in the month of March. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'm going to put all the information on how you can become a volunteer with the Spring Center down in the description and maybe even on the screen. The account details if you'd like to donate and support the work that they do. And if you'd like to contact them for counseling and whatnot, I'm very sure they'll be happy to hear from you. Thank you once again. Until next time, don't forget to be the best version of you. Bye.